Good morning. Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose. It's great to see you here today, whether you're here in person or whether you are watching on our live stream. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for this, in this center of love, this Kindness Cathedral. Yes, Kindness Cathedral, whatever it is you want to call it. We are here, and we are here with you and for you.
Hi. Welcome. My job is to welcome you, but I also like to remind us what we're doing. We get so into it that we forget what it means. You know, we get into the depth of it and we kind of forget that it's so rare. Like, Bonnie's talking about reinventing the church, like reinventing this church, but I actually think that what Bonnie is doing is reinventing church. And there's so many things I could talk about. I could talk about the comedy and the kindness and just go on and on about all that kind of stuff, a center for love. But let's just focus into one of them for a moment. Close your eyes for a second. We embrace all paths to God. Consider that for a moment. We embrace all paths to God. We embrace all paths to God. Then open your eyes and look at the choir. You know, that's unusual, don't you think? It's very special. So welcome to something very special.
Thank you very much, Brock. And Susie, come on down. Okay. It's like, what is that? The price is right?
But good recovery. April. It is a month where we celebrate Earth Day. It's a month where we celebrate Arbor Day. And what the youth will be doing during the month of April is planting seeds. We'll begin today with this book. I remember it certainly as a teacher. I'm sure you remember it from your elementary school days. And I want to give you a little reminder about seeds. Just as a seed must push through the dirt to become a flower, we too must come out of our shell to blossom and bloom. Each part of your life can bring treasures of new challenges and opportunities for growth. If we choose to look, these can bring more love and more peace into our lives. Change takes us out of our comfort zone, but remember that saying, if you're still in your comfort zone, you may not be learning. We need to push through our fears to change, to get the rewards that change brings to us. We cannot allow fear to win. So we let go of fear, we flow with the change, and embrace it. Change is a free ticket to a brand new place. Take the ride to a brand new adventure. You're here to shine, bloom, and grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Appreciate it. You are the peace of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Thank you, everyone. Let's hear from Doreen. Doreen is one of our wonderful practitioners, and she'll give us a prayer.
Thank you. So we'll have the practitioners and any of the ministers in the house join and stand along with me. And if you can join me by closing your eyes, even holding your hands over your heart. And as I do this, I actually just thought about Susie's words and how we plant that seed. So let's just know that we are that seed. We are that God seed. We can remember that here in this service right now. And that as we get still and go quiet, that this is where we get to remember who we really are, that we are the love of God, the peace of God, the harmony of God. Everything about God is who we are. And so, therefore, that means we can truly blossom and just express all those magnificent qualities of God through us and as us. And we do that here together. We get to remember that together at this service. So remembering who we are, knowing that we are surrounded by the light and love of God. And here we just sit back and truly enjoy this service that has been so beautifully planned by God today. And that the words spoken through Reverend Karen lift us up and allow us to just sink into that truth again of who we are. Knowing that every part of this service is perfect, whole, and complete, I just say thank you, God, and release this word into the power of the law. And so it is.
And so
Amen.
it is. Thank you. And we breathe and relax and allow ourselves to be still and know that power and presence of God that some call God, some call love, some call higher power, some call truth, energy, the cosmos, the universe. Whatever it is, we know that it is who we are. And so we rest in that presence as we listen to the words of our sacred reading.
On Stillness by Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind textbook. Be still and know that I am God. I am still in thy presence. I am quiet and peaceful, for I put my trust in thee. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being as I realize thy presence. The heart knows of thee, O Most High within. It is still in thy presence, and it puts its whole confidence in thee alone. In thy presence I am still. I am still and receptive to live. I let life flow through me into all that I do, say, or think. I shall let my life be what it is, and I shall not worry nor complain. I am now entered into the secret place of the soul, where complete quiet reigns supreme, and where God talks to me, and I receive. And so it is.
And so it is. And let us relax into receiving the memory of who we are, the truth of who we are, as we sing together to know that the I am presence, the sense of being, is actually the presence of God that lives and moves and has its perfect being through us. That we are one with the universe and the universe is one with us. That we are a drop in the ocean of the cosmos and the ocean in a drop. That all of this is true for us. And we remember as we relax and let go and sing together, I am remembering who I am. And we rest in that divine presence, as that divine presence. And then we breathe in deeply and exhale, opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. Namaste.
A moment of silence between each drop of rain holds all the stillness of a beautiful refrain. A pause with each breath brings new inspiration of the ember that starts a flame in our heart from the fire of creation. We're sisters and brothers, side by side, across this land. Walking together, step by step, hand in hand. The wonders we are, endless variation of the ember that starts a flame in our heart. The fire of creation. Your smile could power the sun, and when you laugh, ooh, I come undone. You could follow a lead on this long journey home, unwritten destinies into the unknown. Well, let's be on our way without hesitation. We'll make a new start from the flame in our heart, from the fire of creation. Let's make a new start with a flame in our heart, from the fire of creation. Don't you know we're gonna make a new start with a flame in our heart, from the fire of creation. Push through the soil and shine on the fire of creation. The fire, fire, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, fire gonna burn, yeah, 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 yeah. The fire of creation. The fire of creation.
as one singer to another. How do you do that? Oh my goodness. It's amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you, Chris. Beautiful. I'm here to introduce our guest speaker. Now, many of us have known Reverend Karen for years, and I know that she has a big, broad life outside of this center, but I know her through, of course, our center here, so I'd like to tell you about some of this stuff about her from here. Karen was here before I got here. Long before I got here, as far as I know, and she was a practitioner when I got here, and also then she became a practitioner emeritus, which means they've served exceptionally for 20 years, and now she's a minister. Karen is the leader of our ministry of prayer, and also the leader of our membership. What do you call it? Membership ministry. That's right. And one of the best things that I can name about Karen, there were several of the best things, is that she always makes me laugh, and she is extremely wise, and she has been a magnificent role model for me in all of the time that I've been here. So I'm delighted that she's speaking for us today with all of her love and wisdom, and let's give her some Ventura love as she steps up to the pulpit.
Thank you. I'm not rushing up here like that beautiful bundle of energy, Susie Thatcher. I'm barely making it. But anyway, I'm so honored to be here, Reverend Bonnie. You are my inspiration, for sure. Oh, my gosh. And I want to say that with Hugh's reading, and Gia's fabulous voice and song, I am very emotional. I've got chills, and everything that they sang and talked about is what I'm going to talk about this morning. And it's those inner voices, I call them when the weeds are rustling. They can get really loud in there. I have to say that this morning, everything in my house went wrong. Everything broke that could break, and the weeds were going crazy. And the one thing, and then I was thinking about coming here, and my beautiful husband said to me all the time, whenever I was faced with a challenge or a trauma or something I was afraid to do, he'd say, "You've got this, babe. You've got this." So his voice calmed down the weeds, and I got it. Whatever happens, I've got it. And I have, thank you. So I have two goals this morning, well, more than two, but two important ones. One is to deliver at least one nugget of spiritual wisdom that we can take home and think about, contemplate on, or use. The other one is for my body parts to stay whole and together while I'm up here, because it's very tenuous. But anyway, that's what we got. The voices, it's like, look who's talking. And in practicing my talk, I had to realize that my mind wants to go into different directions, because there's so much when you talk about the inner voices or going into the silence and all of this. It's, oh, I could talk about that, and I could talk about that. It's just like, no, stay focused. So I'm going to tell you a story today, and I love this story. It's from a book by Anthony DeMello, and the book is titled The Song of the Bird. And the name of the story is The Temple Bells. And this story talks to, which I will interpret, to the inner voice, and how sometimes we can't go into that silence because we're trying too hard. We're just trying and trying and trying so desperately hard to get to that place of peace and silence that it doesn't happen. And a lot of first-time meditators, and I was one of them, who thought, oh, my brain's too busy, it won't quiet down, I can't do this, I can't do it, I can't do it. It's like going crazy. And until I learned, and then I could go past those weeds. I could go past those weeds rustling in my head. And they'll never turn off. The chatter is always there. But what we can do is we can rise above it. We can rise above that chatter, which is on a very low level of spirituality. And And so they're still there, but we don't pay attention to it anymore. We can't really hear it, because we're in this space of beautiful silence. And like Doreen in her beautiful prayer, and Doreen is a prayer goddess, I must say. And so amazed by her prayers always and her gentle heart. So this story, it's called The Temple Bells. And many centuries ago, there was an island, and on this island there was a temple. And the temple had 1,000 bells. Some tiny little bells, some big, some medium, all different sizes of bells. But there were 1,000 of these bells. And they were handcrafted by the most famous craftsmen around the world. They were so special. And the legend has it that when there was a storm or there was a wind, and these bells would peal out in a beautiful symphony of sound. And it was so beautiful that anyone who heard these bells, who heard that symphony, became enraptured. They were just in ecstasy from that sound. It was so magical. The only thing that anybody needed to do was to listen. And then they could hear these bells. So through the centuries, the island sank. It sank to the bottom of the ocean, and with it, the temple and the temple bells. So the telling of the story went through centuries and centuries and centuries, and it spread around the world. So people heard about the temple bells from all different parts of the earth. And there was a young man who was sitting in his coffee house one day with his fellow writers and poets and actors, and somebody mentioned this story about the temple bells. And he went, I want to hear those bells. So he took time off, he arranged time off, and he packed his bags and he flew thousands of miles to this piece of land, this mainland that was off of where the island had been. And he found out where he needed to go sit on the shore so he could stare out at the sea where the island had been. And he did this day after day, week after week. I mean, he was so intent on hearing those bells. He said, I've got to hear him, I've got to hear him. Oh, I've got to hear him. And the only thing he heard was the sound of the sea. And the sound of the sea, to him at this time, was getting in the way of his hearing the temple bells. And that sound of the sea became a roar. And to him it was so loud, it took over the world. And it was annoying him, and he was getting frustrated. And he's, oh, be quiet, sea, I can't hear the bells. I'm not here to listen to you. Be quiet. So then he would get so frustrated, he'd go into the village and he'd talk to the village pundits. And they would talk about that legend with unction. And I looked up unction. It means passion. So they would tell the story. And every time he heard the story, his heart would become a flame. And he'd feel that fire in him. And he'd go back. And he'd sit down again on the shore. And to no avail. He never heard the only thing he heard was the ocean pounding against the shore. So he did this for weeks on end, and every time he would go try to get inspired, and he'd go back, and then he'd get discouraged again. So finally he gave up. I'm giving up. I'm going home. I'm not good enough, these little weeds in his head. Who do you think you are? You're not good enough to hear those temple bells. Only the very special people can hear those temple bells, and you're not special. You're just ordinary. Go home. And then he'd say, the other weeds would say, oh, you're just a fool, because these people in the village, they're lying. There was never a temple. There are no temple bells. What? That's ridiculous. How stupid are you to believe that? So he would listen to all these little voices in his head and go, yeah, I guess I'm going to go home. But before he went home, he said, I want to go say goodbye. I want to say goodbye to the sea. I want to say goodbye to the birds and the wind and the little sand crabs that run around and the coconut trees. So he went down there to say goodbye, and he brought his little beach blanket, and he put it down, and he sat down, and he laid down. And he laid down not to hear the temple bells. He just laid down to say goodbye to this place that he called home for so many weeks. He came every day to this place. So when he laid down, he actually, for the very first time, he listened. He listened to the sea. And he didn't hear a roar. He didn't hear an annoying noise. He heard a beautiful song. And the sea was singing to him in its beautiful rhythms as it lapped the shore and as the waves met each other. And he could hear it, and it was beautiful. And it was so meditative, and he went into such a state of silence. He went so deep. The sound of the sea brought him so deep into a place of silence and peace that he just became lost in himself. And he was so lost in himself, he didn't realize what was going on. But he kept hearing the sea, and it was singing to him in beautiful, beautiful songs that the sea was singing. And then all of a sudden, he heard, or he thought he heard, a tiny, tiny little tinkle. And then he heard another little tinkle, a little louder, and another, and another, and another, until finally all 1,000 temple bells were pealing out in a beautiful symphony just for him. And he was so overcome. He was in ecstasy. His heart was just beating in passion, and he didn't know what to do, but he had achieved his goal by going into the silence, by clearing away the weeds in his head that were telling him he wasn't good enough. He could hear the temple bells, and he was forever changed by that, by being able to really listen for the first time in his life, to listen, and he could hear the voice of God as it sang through first the sea and then the temple bells. And when the temple bells were ringing and the sea was singing its song, they joined together in a beautiful harmony that filled his heart. So if you wish to hear the temple bells, listen to the sea. And if you wish to have a glimpse of God, look at creation intently. So, that's what my talk is about. The young man who was so intent, sometimes we're so intent on finding an answer. We're so intent on wanting to know where to go, what to do, who we are. Is this okay? Is that not okay? That we just become filled with this busyness in our brain, and we can't hear. We can't hear the voice of God as it tries to talk to us. I did this with ministerial school. It took me 3 years before I could hear the voice of God telling me this was a calling and not an ego trip, because I didn't want it to be another rung in the ladder, something to achieve and not have it mean anything. And finally, when I did, I let all of that chatter go, and I just went into meditation. I said, God, just talk to me. I just want to know that this is you talking to me and not my ego talking to me. And I knew, because when I came out of the meditation, my heart was pounding so hard. Every time I thought about becoming a minister, my heart would just go, I'd get excited. I'd get so excited. And everything that blocked me in the previous 3 years, like all the negativity, the money, the time, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're too old, you're going to be like older when you graduate, if you do. What are you going to do in a ministry? Nobody's going to want to listen to some old gal up there, So everything went away. Everything that tried to block me fixed itself. I didn't have to do anything. I took the first step, and when I took the first step, all the other steps came easily. It just happened. And it just happened. And again, I had my darling husband there supporting me the whole way. You've got it, babe. You've got it, babe. You're already a minister. You've got it. I mean, his voice is still with me, and it always will be. But just to know, there's a quote by Ernest Holmes, and it says, "Through my eyes, God sees the perfection of his kingdom. I too see the perfection in all creation. And that is like, yeah, the perfection in creation. If we want a glimpse of God, look at creation. In the ocean, the temple bells, the sand, the sea, the world, the flowers, our animals, our loved ones, this beautiful love blanket that's in front of me right here. It's all a glimpse of God. And in that glimpse, we feel peaceful. We can just rest and we can relax and we can be at peace. Because we don't have to try to have a successful life. We just have to listen and put one foot in front of the other, and everything is made for us. Everything unfolds for us. But it starts in our mind, body, soul connection is so important because they all work together. When it's just our mind pushing us or it's just our body pushing us, it's not going to work. They have to be together. They have to be in synchronicity, like the ocean singing and the temple bells chiming together. Two separate entities, but one beautiful symphony of sound, one beautiful song from the heart of God. And that's what life is all about. And I can't say enough how we make it hard on ourselves. I can't talk for everybody. I can talk for me in my life. When I try to make it better, to make things happen, if they do happen, they don't work out, But when I don't try and I just surrender is a big thing here, because when the young man surrendered, he went there to say goodbye. He surrendered. He wasn't trying to hear the bells anymore, and he heard the sea. He listened and he heard the sea. And in hearing the sea and letting that envelop his whole being, then he heard the temple bells. And then he was in rapture, and he was where he wanted to be, and he didn't even know how he got there, but he got there. And that's what life is about. That's what the weeds rustle in. They're there, they try and trip us up, but we know better. We know better because we also have the seeds that were planted within us from God. And God planted seeds when we came into this world. And I say God, if spirit, love, whatever you want to call God, it has many names, but I like God, so that's what I call it. But anyway, whatever you want to call it, it's the creator, it's that energy force that's beyond all universes, beyond what we can imagine, beyond what we can see. It's created, and it has created, it does create, it never stops creating. And our thoughts about us and our thoughts about how our life should be are in alignment with that when we listen and when we don't have to take control, and we can just say, this is what I want to do, this is what I believe I can do. When we believe we can do something, we can do it. We can do it. And I remember my grandson Christopher, who is now a paramedic firefighter, LA County, was a little boy, and he'd come here, and we were walking home one day, and Fred said to him, hey, Chris, he said, how come you like this church so much? He says, because, Gramps, it makes me know that I can do anything I want to do. Right? And that's true. And he left coming to this church later on, but in his life, he has done whatever he wants to do. He sets his mind to something, and he makes it happen. He doesn't make it happen. He lets God make it happen. And he always wanted to be a firefighter from a little boy, and the going was rough. It was not easy. And, he made his little plan, and he believed in himself, and it happened. It happened better than he could have planned it. And that's life. And I'm here this morning, standing on the stage, talking to people, and knowing that I'm going to be on Facebook or something, and it's like, oh, okay. This is me. All right, this is me in my glory and my extra poundage that I put on during COVID and my husband's passing. But you know what? It's good. It's good. I don't care. I have a heart. I have a soul, and I believe in God, and I believe in life, and I believe that we are more than what we look like. We are hearts, and our hearts speak through our eyes, our hearts speak through our voices, and our hearts speak through our service. When we're in service to each other, when we're kind, and Bonnie's all about kindness, and for a good reason, because kindness is the healer of the world. If we could be kind to each other, what can go wrong? I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to support each other, to love each other, to be kind to each other. And if we don't understand each other, that's fine. But we can still be kind and honor our differences, honor what other people think. You know, they don't all have to think like I do, although, you know. So, I know. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Wasn't there a song that's the hokey pokey? Shake yourself around, put your left foot in. Shake it all around. That's what it's all about. Yeah, it's all about God. It's all about going into that beautiful place. It's all about listening. It's all about, who's talking? Are the weeds talking, or is God talking? Are we listening to weeds, or are we listening to God? And we came into this life with a purpose, a noble purpose, and it's different for each one of us. But it's simple, and it's all God. And Fred's noble purpose was written on a card, and it was I had taped it to an angel painting that he did, and it was over his hospice bed. And his noble purpose was to spread the awesome power of love. To spread the awesome power of love. And he did that in his life. And it was very special. It was simple, but to think about it, spreading love every day of our lives, that can be a challenge. You know, it's like, oh, do I really have to do this? Okay. And the main thing to start spreading the power of love is with ourselves. To look in the mirror and see who we are, and to know that we are a creation of God. We are love. And to not honor that is to me being disrespectful to the Creator who made us, because God doesn't make mistakes. Doesn't make mistakes. None of us are mistakes. No matter what we look like, no matter how we talk, no matter what we do, we're not a mistake. We all have a gift to bring to this world, no matter what station, what position, what job or no job we have. We are here to give a message, you know. And I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. And oh, what a cute little picture. There's a little picture of a little animal with flowers on its head down there. I don't know what it is, but it's adorable. Anyway. Okay. Its eyes are crossed too, so I don't know what it's saying. But it's adorable. Okay, so I hope I gave a little nugget today, and in wrapping this up, getting a glimpse of God in all creation. That's who we are. We're creation, and getting a glimpse of God is looking at each other. Looking at each other's faces, looking at our animals, our beautiful animals, and knowing that God is in all forms of life, and knowing this, feeling this. I'm going to go into wrapping this up with a prayer. And as I pray, I absolutely recognize the presence of God, the presence of Spirit, of love, of life. That Creator, that energy force that made all life is the source for and of all life. And that energy source is who we are. It is within us, and we are within it. We are within the one heart, the universal one heart, which expands and contraction and expands and contracts, and it just brings those hugs and that love to all life. And knowing this and feeling that presence within myself, feeling it within myself as my creativity, as my power, as my love, as my kindness, as everything that I am, and knowing that presence within each and every one of us here, within all life, on all levels, in all forms, that presence is here. That presence is within each of us. And knowing as we go out about our life today and through the rest of this week until we get more food next Sunday at Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, that we take kindness into the world. We take kindness to ourselves and to other people, to the animals, to the earth, to the trees. Because this beautiful planet supports us. The beautiful life on this planet, under this planet, within this planet, above this planet, it is all of God. It is all supportive of each other and us. And we all need each other to live. We all need each other to live a beautiful life. And in that needing, in that supporting, in that kindness, and in this space of gratitude, and this attitude of gratitude and being grateful for every moment that appears, no matter what it's dressed like. It can be in clouds, it can be wearing dark clothes, it can be wearing beautiful pink flowers, it can appear in any form. It's all a blessing. Every moment that we breathe is a blessing. Every moment that we support someone else is a blessing. Sometimes those blessings look like they're difficult, but with God, they're not. With God, we have them. We've got this, babe, all of us. And I release this prayer into the universal law. And I end this talk with love and kindness for all life. And together we say, and so it is.
Somebody's going to sing a beautiful song. Somebody beautiful is going to sing a beautiful song. And some beautiful people are going to pass baskets around. So I'd like to pause for a moment and appreciate what this is. Another thing we're so deep into that we forget, sanctuary. So maybe close your eyes for a second and become aware that you are in a space, a sacred space that is filled with the presence of people who have spent their lives seeking the mystery of divinity. Like our sister, Reverend Karen, and our brother, her late husband, Fred. It's a very special presence. No one's pressing anything on you. No one's pushing anything on you. No one's pulling anything from you. Nobody's trying to get rid of anybody because they're weird. You know? It's okay to be different. And there's a lot of creativity and a lot of reverence and a lot of comedy. and we're in the presence of the mystery. So pause for a moment and consider what such a thing is worth. What such a moment is worth. And we're going to keep doing this so you can keep coming back as needed. It's priceless.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you'd like to take out your gifts or your blessing, whichever it is, and hold it over your heart, and please repeat after me. We trust in spirit. God is the giver and receiver of all that we are. We offer our gifts. They are an outer expression of inner abundance. Our gifts bless many and return to us multiplied in miraculous ways, so that we may give again. And so it is. Thank you.
Wow. My inner weeds sometimes look like Mr. Bean. That's how I feel sometimes. So some of you have a spirit animal, which I also have, but Mr. Bean, I am weird. I just thought I would share that. This is a place of honesty and kindness. I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for the joy inside. Oh, I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for this holy ride. There's joy in my heart and peace in my soul. God is love, I have to extol. I woke up and I was thankful. The river of sorrow seems wide, the valley of darkness so low. I fell into the river and cried, and slept in the valley before. Now I come to understand, angels hold my hand, and I walk with my sisters and brothers to the throne, all the way home. Oh, I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for the joy inside. Oh, I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for this holy ride. There's joy in my heart and peace in my soul. God is the love I have to extol. I woke up and I was thankful. The Holy Spirit moves through me. I express her love creatively. I praise myself by praising you and appreciating all you do. The beauty of your smiling face, all the smell of the morning sky, the wonders of God's grace, oh, they get me feeling high, and I keep on remembering I am here revealing light and the love that is given me to shine, shine on. Oh, I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for the joy inside. I woke up and I was thankful, thankful for this holy ride. There's joy in my heart and peace in my soul. God is a love I have to extol. I woke up and I was thankful. I woke up, I'm waking up and I am thankful. Yeah, Jesus, Buddha, Bonnie, Karen, Reverend, all around the world, you're a light worker. So bring the light with a smile, with a touch, with a thought, with a thought, with a thought from your heart. Oh, everybody thankful. Just give a little thankfulness. Oh, when you're thankful. Oh, I woke up, we are waking up, and we are thankful. Yeah.
I'm thankful. How about you? Right? Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do some announcements. Let's see. Okay, so we've got these little cards hanging out. We're going to keep these going until things settle down in the world. They're little cards that say, "May peace prevail on earth, pass it on." And we invite you to take a bunch of them with you and just leave them in strategic places for people to see, to inspire people to pray for peace. We have ambassadors today, possibly. Anybody an ambassador here? Hi, there you are. So ambassadors are folks to give you information if you're new to the church, if you want to learn more about it, or if you just want a friendly face to say hello to, just say hi to your ambassador over there. First Wednesday meditation this is a bestseller meditation. It's Thich Nhat Hanh and his Prayers to the Earth. Part 2 was done last month by Lita Martin, and it was a big hit, so I encourage you to do that. That's Wednesdays on Zoom. There's a food class coming up. Mary, come and tell us about your class. And where's Joan? Where's that rascally Joan? Why don't you come up and stand by me so we can...
Good morning. The workshop that I'll be starting tomorrow night at 6:30 on Zoom is called Freedom from Food. So sometimes food seems to have us instead of we being able to have it. And so we're going to take modern brain science, the science of the brain and the body, and what it wants to tell us, and we're going to take the science of mind and what Ernest Holmes has told us and what we are learning here all the time. And so we're going to look at how we can gain some freedom from compulsive eating, gain some freedom from addictive food addiction and addictive eating by blending those two sciences, the spiritual principles of science of mind and the brain science.
Thank you so much.
It will be really fun. It will be on Zoom, and you can get that information from the website. 6:30, 5 classes starting tomorrow evening. Thank you.
Let's have you give the mic to Joan, because she's going to make an announcement in just a minute. I'm going to set Joan up here, okay? So speaking of food, we're serving a bunch of it back there. This week we have a cake and everything, so it's pretty exciting. But we do have volunteers that make that happen, and we have some people that's stepped up and said yes to volunteer, but we'd like a few more. So if you feel inspired, if you enjoy the hospitality service back there and you'd like to try and help make it happen, that would be so wonderful for us, because we all have to feed each other. You know, we're all in this center together, and we all have to support the growth of this congregation, and part of that growth happens through friendship and community, and a lot of the friendship and community takes place through those doors there as we're breaking bread together. Joan was our hospitality goddess for many years, and she's going to tell us how fun it was.
Oh, it was lots of fun. I mean, I joined the church like 18 years ago, and I just went right up to the hospitality and asked if they needed any help, and it just brought and it continues to bring me much joy and fellowship, and it's like our center. You know, you want to be part of love, you want to share the love, and serve with love, and it's just very heartwarming. Mm-hmm. And if you like to work around food or be around food and people, you know, it's a great place to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. And if you're interested in doing that, check in with Annette or somebody else, somebody like a practitioner or me or something, and just let us know, okay? All righty. So you know that April is a big month for the world's faith traditions. We've got Ramadan. We're doing a Ramadan class on Zoom on April 9th with some friends that I met in India who actually live in Turkey who are Muslim. They're going to do a Ramadan presentation. We're doing Holy Thursday, Maundy Thursday, at a United Church of Christ church, really sweet church here over on Foothill. And Passover, most of the seders in town were full, but I have some friends that have an online Torah circle, so we're putting that information on the website too. We'll give you all the details on the website, but if you want to do something for Holy Week, which starts soon, sometime in April, Easter's the 17th, Passover's the 15th, and Ramadan is starting now, actually. So just check out our website. Outreach, we're doing our outreach projects, which is family to family, serving lunch to unhoused folks on first Mondays, and Lift Up Your Voice, which helps rehome people. We need donations of small furniture and smaller kitchen items, as well as bicycles. Information for that is on the website. Choir rehearsal for VCSL's Hearts and Harmony Choir are now in person and on Zoom, and they take place on Sundays, and they're happening in the sanctuary now. After service options, prayer with a practitioner, 1-minute miracles. You'll see the practitioners wearing white stoles. And then back in there, we've got food. Today we have cake. We've got a bookstore, and we also have some free books and puzzles. And if you'd like to participate in our hospitality, if you're not up to volunteering, if you'd like to bring in some wrapped COVID-friendly things, food to share, that would be great. One more thing, we're going to put this in announcements. next week, but I was feeling it so strongly as Karen was speaking. In this state after, is it after COVID? I don't know. I don't want to say that yet. It's, things seem to be getting somewhat back to normal, but there's still a lot of turmoil in the world, and the war. And this seems like a fantastic time for reinvention of the church. So in May, we're going to be gathering together on some Thursday nights and doing some visioning, and we'll be putting more information out about that. But because it's a time of reinvention, it's time to do exactly what Karen said and get still and turn within and find out what God's next steps are for this journey that we call church and for this community that is a community of love. How can we be a stronger presence of love in this particular time? So I'll be letting you know more about that later on, but in the meantime, hold it in your hearts, hold a vision of great reinvention. I'm actually excited that something great is coming. I just don't know what it is yet, but if you would support that vision with me, that would be wonderful. On that note, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for showing up in this community. Thank you so much for taking these words out with you into the world and being love, sharing love, and serving love. And on that note, let us pray. And so I turn within to trust and know that all is well, that there is a power and a presence that we call God, this wonderful, wonderful presence that is all things, that is all peace, that is love, that is kindness, that is beyond opposites, that holds and contains all beingness everywhere, that there is no spot where God is not, that God is infinite, and there is no such thing as infinity and something else. And so in this consciousness of the infinite possibilities, I unify with that nature of the infinite. I unify with love and peace and power. And as I unify for myself, I unify for every single person sitting in this sanctuary, every single person listening. I unify with the entire cosmos, knowing that we are all one together. And that as one, we take this work into our hearts. We take the wisdom of Reverend Karen into our hearts, the beauty of the sacred reading, the beauty of the prayer, the beauty of the music, and we allow it to fill us up and to transform us from the inside out as we listen to God's perfect purpose for us, as us, through us, in us. How wonderful it is to know that deep transformation has occurred here through each of us today, not only for ourselves, but we trust the ripples, and we know that this transformation ripples out and blesses the world, blesses the entire cosmos. And so with gratitude for that, I say thank you. And I offer a word of blessing for all paths to God. Churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, agnostics, all beings everywhere. For all beings are a blessing. I am so grateful for what has happened today and what is yet to be. And with a heart that is so filled with gratitude, I say thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is.